Causing you to obsess is another of our methods of control. You will scrutinize the things that I have said and done and try and work them out. You will analyze your own behavior to try and work out whether something you have done has caused a particular reaction in me. You become anxious, hypervigilant, stuck, and confused. It is an utter waste of your time and energy, yet you fall into doing it with the greatest of ease. Why is that? You are programmed to want to know why people do as they do. You derive pleasure, in an entirely healthy manner, from understanding what makes people tick. This then enables you to do what you do best: care for them, take an interest in them, and derive joy from their joy. This is all very admirable. Regrettably, we know that your desire for answers and understanding may drive you into obsessing over details. You need to understand why we act as we do. Why did we make that remark? What was behind that comment? Why did I not call you back? You have become aware that I have gone out with an old flame, and you need to know whether we are just friends, or is there something more sinister behind it? We push you into this state of obsessing over the relationship because we have conditioned you to second-guess our behavior. If I do this, will he get angry? If I do that, will it please him? Once upon a time, before your involvement with me, you would do things and 9 times out of 10, you would get the expected response. That was because you were dealing with sensible and healthy people. Then I came along. Part of this obsessing arises out of the fact that very little of what we do never seems to have any grounding in logic. For instance, I might fly into a rage because you took the last slice of bread, even though I had already remarked that I was full. That reaction, viewed from your perspective, made no sense. I said I was full, thus implying I did not want any more bread, and you also knew that I had eaten several more slices than you, thus suggesting that I might then not be entitled to that last slice, and you were. Not from my perspective. Not in my world. My disproportionate reaction to a trivial matter causes you to then begin second-guessing me. You start to think, if I am asleep, should I take him a cup of tea and wake him, then he will be angry. But what if he is not asleep, and he is waiting for a cup of tea in bed? He will be angry with me for not taking one to him. If, however, I go and check if he is asleep or waiting for a drink and I disturb him, that may make him angry. Does this level of indecision sound familiar? If you asked your pre-me self to read that is how you will end up behaving, you would have shook your head and laughed. But it happens. It always happens. By causing you to second-guess our behavior, we also lead you down the path of obsessing over everything that goes on in our relationship. You become hypervigilant to it, trying to read the signs and fathom out what is really going on. This is exhausting and ultimately fruitless. There is a further reason why we like to engender in you the behavior of obsessing. Yes, it provides us with fuel. That is our primary objective. But also, if you are spending your time trying to work and figure things out, you are going nowhere. You are taking no action, and you are just stuck in the same place. We like that. It means we can get on with what we want to do, in the full knowledge that you will still be sat there trying to work out if that last comment about needing to spend more time with our friends was a coded death knell for the relationship. We do not want you to work things out. We do not want you taking action. We want you sat there, obsessing, anxious, and static. In tackling the use of causing you to engage in obsessing, you need to keep the following in mind. 1. Understand that when you are doing this, you are subconsciously fueling your affection for me. By repeatedly thinking about me and why I have done or said something causes you to increase your affection because of who you are. You do not feel it as affection because the anxiety engulfs that sensation, but this is what is happening beneath the worry. 2. Regain perspective. Does the fact that I left without saying goodbye actually matter? Once upon a time you will have shrugged it off, and you will have not been concerned by it. However, the gradual and steady erosion of your ability to cope means that you will be worried that it may mean that I am unhappy with you. Then again, it may not. You could try and find out by ringing me up to ask, but then you are playing straight into my hands. I have done this on purpose, because I know you will be wondering what it means. We know that you obsess, and we play on it as part of our manipulation of you. The thought of you sat at home or at work concerned about this lack of farewell makes us feel powerful. Look at the effect we have on you by omitting a simple goodbye. If you telephone us to ask, you are giving us even more attention, more fuel, and we love it. Stand back for a moment, and if you're obsessing, ask yourself this question: does it really matter? The answer will invariably be no. 3. Ask yourself, what am I achieving by doing this? If you are analysing something you have said or done, it has already happened. It cannot be changed. Move on. My kind and me never sit and concern ourselves with what has happened. We regard such regular introspection and reflection as work and unproductive. We have to move forward, always forward. You are sitting in the past, which is completely pointless. If you are scrutinizing my behavior, remind yourself that trying to figure my kind and me out is a difficult and often fruitless task. Logic, looked at from your perspective, is thrown from the window. Your time is better spent listening to my videos and reading my articles in order to work out precisely what we are about, rather than trying to do it on your own. 4. Find a direct, no-nonsense friend who will act as your filter. Every time you wish to scrutinize something that your narcissist has done, raise it with this person. They will not soothe you like some friends will by listening and analyzing with you. What good is that? Instead, they will be blunt and tell you to stop being so silly and ignore it. You may protest, but they will not entertain you discussing it for another syllable. Make sure you turn to this person and not someone who enables you to sit and scrutinize everything. 5. Following on from the above, do not also obsess with other friends who are content to allow you to do it. You are bypassing the friend mentioned above and undoing their good work. Moreover, these friends are not helping. They have the best of intentions. They will sit and listen, offer advice and sympathize. They will enjoy trying to fathom out the narcissist's behavior, but if they do not know what they are dealing with, they will be next to useless. They will come to expect you to sit down with them or ring and say, "He has done this, what does it mean?" They want you to come to them with the next piece of the jigsaw. Much as they want to help you, they are also getting something from this situation being perpetuated, and it is not helping you. Do not turn to these friends. 6. You have formed a habit of obsessing, and you actually derive enjoyment from doing it, as it gives you something to talk about with an enabling friend. Although it causes you anxiety, you have become reliant on turning to a friend or standing talking to yourself in a mirror. You enjoy doing it as you remain hopeful of determining an answer, because, as I mentioned at the beginning of this section, you need an answer that makes sense. I will tell you again, the narcissist does not operate by the normal rules of logic that you have come to know. You will not find an answer which satisfies your need for logic and understanding, so do not waste time and energy trying to find it. Instead, focus on understanding what the narcissistic perspective is. You will not like it, but once you understand it, it will allow you considerable freedom. 7. If you find stopping obsessing altogether far too difficult, discipline yourself to only spend 15 minutes each day considering the actions of your narcissist. This zone must take place at the same time each day and for the same amount of set time. If you find yourself obsessing outside of the zone, you must stop and reserve the activity for the allotted time. Over time, reduce the allowed time for obsessing until it becomes 0. 8. Fill your time with other things to reduce the time available for indulging in obsessing. 9. Train yourself to realize you have started to obsess, and then train yourself to go and do something else. This will take time and discipline, but you ought to do it. 10. Avoid any kind of stalking behavior which you may think will get you answers. Especially avoid the habit of cyber stalking. This will just throw fuel onto your obsessing, as odds on you will see something which raises more questions than it answers. 11. Ultimately, gain understanding about the narcissist, and then once you do, move on and focus on yourself.